The thing that annoys me is this happens like at least once a week, but sometimes it's like it goes every other week. I was leaning Texans because I was like, this is a bad matchup for the Bills, man. But holy cow, I did not expect 8 freaking sacks. And they didn't sack Davis Mills once. Not one time. But yeah, there's a lot to break down from the game yesterday. The Bills, they're in a bit of trouble right now. The Texans, they are now above 500. So who knows? Maybe their playoff hopes are not completely dead. We'll see how long Davis Mills is going to play. But yeah, and then of course we'll be breaking down those Week 12 matchups. And Brandon, you said you have a very special announcement.
I did?
No, but I just wanted to put you on the spot. I was
Wait,
done with
did I? Do I? Is something happening for me today?
Yeah,
oh, man.
CJ Stroud missed his 5th straight game, or 5th, I shouldn't say straight, excuse me, 5th game in his career because of a concussion. So we're going to make sure he's all the way back before sending him on out there. So maybe after this 10-day break.
Yeah, do you guys want CJ back? Are you rolling with Davey Mills?
I feel like
it's not like Davis just playing smart football. No turnovers, 2 touchdowns last night, $153. And what did I say when he came in the game against the Broncos, Tom? You remember?
I wasn't streaming with you.
I know, but we talked about it here. I said Davis Mills, I thought actually looked a little bit better than CJ Stroud.
You were saying the protection was better. I mean, because he wasn't getting.
I thought he looked a little better.
Yeah,
and I think people thought I was crazy. I think people thought I was coping with my team. Wrong, motherfuckers. Davis Mills is okay.
Well, to be fair,
he's okay.
We talked about when Jake Browning came in for the Bengals because it looked like for a hot second it was like, does the offensive line just hate Joe Burrow? And then Jake Browning did Jake Browning.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's I think like the Texans are in this interesting spot where clearly they have the best defense in the league, or their best defense tied with, the Broncos and Eagles, and you can flip-flop some categories. But sure. I also I can't remember if it's power rankings or here. I said I would credit the Texans as having a better defense than the Broncos.
You did, yeah. You said it here.
Not by much, but like last night was just a primetime showcasing of their dominance. And what's crazy about those 8 sacks is I think all of them, if not most of them, came just on a 4-man front.
Yeah.
It's not like they were doing tricky shit with dialing up crazy blitzes. They just dominated the Bills, like straight up. That offensive line for Buffalo looked as bad as I've seen it look in like the last 3 years.
Listen, I got some flashbacks to the Packers because one bad O-line play, and then when they decided to run it up the gut on 4th and 1, the only difference was the Packers did it out of shotgun. That it was a turnover on downs. But yeah, it was ugly, man. And Will Anderson, holy God. Like he's already been a fantastic player. What's it, a sack now in 6 straight games, something like that. He is and he was just dominating in the trenches last night. It was so freaking good. So
yeah. And the Bills suffered a bunch of injuries in that game, which is unfortunate.
Refs got injured.
What's that?
The refs got injured?
Yeah, the refs got hurt.
Everybody got injured.
The ref can't hurt you if he's not in the game. Will Anderson and Kalen Bullock, safety in his second year for Houston. He had just a crazy game. Had that forced fumble late for Houston. Also the 2 interceptions. And he was thrown at just twice. And both times he was thrown at, he ran away with the pick. When your safety's making those kind of dynamic plays and your front is getting after Josh Allen, and a reason the Bills didn't have an answer is because, the Texans secondary is good and the Bills just don't have, they don't have an unguardable receiver. And I think like this is one of those games where it hurt them. I saw somebody talking about the Bills our offense is too predictable because of the amount of times they run mesh routes and they looked predictable. It felt like they had stuff going with James Cook.
Yeah.
And they would just get away from trying to run, and then they would try to run over and over again without success. Like, I don't know, man. Bills got to figure out a lot of shit if they want to win a playoff game, because right now the Texans are at the bottom of the playoff race.
Yeah.
And if their offense can just be average and they sneak into the playoffs, that is a team nobody's going to want to play. Nobody.
No, and the thing is with the Bills, right, is like you see Keon Coleman on the sideline. I think it was Dawkins this past week who was just like, dude's got to grow up, right?
Yeah.
Like because he's been late or didn't show up to meetings and stuff, and like this is like the third time since he's gotten to Buffalo, and he's like, this is what's expected of you, and this is why they went out and drafted a wide receiver early, right? Because they needed a deep threat, they needed that wide receiver one, and last year. The big difference between this year and last year is last year they came out with that dynamic run game, right? James Cook had like a cajillion touchdowns. They had a top 5 running attack. They had a top 5 passing attack, and they just looked really darn good. And they were balanced. This year, they had the same issues because last year we were all anticipating, well, they have no wide receivers. They trade everybody away, what have you. That offense is going to struggle. This year, those issues remained there, and now people are like, okay, well, if James Cook can be stopped, well, then that offense becomes one-dimensional very quickly. And Josh Allen's a very good quarterback, but if his receivers can't get open, what are you going to do? So it's a tough look for the Bills' offense. They're not like dead in the water or anything, but I think that, like every other team, they have significant flaws. I just think that their flaws may be greater than some of the other AFC teams that we see, because I think you're going to see a lot of AFC opponents get dominated by really good defenses come postseason. And exactly what you mentioned by the Texans, because the only reason the Bills were even in that game was because the Texans offense couldn't take advantage at times.
Yeah.
They were just, they put together poopy drives. I was streaming 2 games. That's what
the other take there is the Chiefs are really bad. The Chiefs do suck. The Bills got absolutely dominated in this game. 23-19 is the final score. And even though the Bills offense was just shellacked, they still had a chance to win this game. So if you're looking at if you're trying to be optimistic for the Bills, it's their Gabe Davis's foot away, right, from maybe winning the game. It would have been, they would have had a chance to score there, and I'm not saying they would have scored against Houston in that situation. Khalil Shakir converted. Khalil Shakir.
You're good, yeah.
And that 4th and 27. Well, Shakir had a big breakaway play late that gave him another chance. Houston defense stopped Buffalo. Then they run a trick play on 4th and 27. They get it. They convert. They're getting close. They have a chance, and the defense stops them again. So, like, Buffalo hung around, and they really need to thank Ray Davis for that kick return for keeping them in the game. And, James Cook had that touchdown on the first drive. After that touchdown, though, it was more than 3.5 quarters where their offense couldn't score a touchdown. And again, that's just a testament to the Texans defense. So I don't know, man. It's crazy. 7-4, the Bills, but they feel like they're a 500 team right now.
Again, and you got to give credit to the Texans defense, right? Like that is a very good defense that you're going against, and the Bills are not going to go against that defense every single week. Yeah. But again, I just think that based on the receivers that they have, based on the blocking last night, definitely, but it's just, this is not the year for their passing game. They need another dynamic weapon, and hopefully, Keon Coleman can come back and, is looking a lot better. But yeah, it's a tough look right now, because again, like who knows if the Texans, it's like you said, if they wind up sneaking into the postseason, it's going to be an ugly ass game. But boy, oh boy, not a single team is going to want to go up against that defense, because like you guys are up there, right? Like you're problematic in the AFC with your defense. The Texans are the same. Dude, who knows? Maybe we'll see a Texans-Broncos rematch again. And that one could go either way, because they're very similar teams. Their offense is like, okay, at times it's underachieving, but their defense is just so damn good. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me CJ Stroud if we play Houston.
There you go.